Hello, and I'd like to welcome you all to our Tuesday 1:30 p.m. session with Iona once again, where Samantha will be doing a session for us on low-cost resources for aging at home. Everything from Iona services to DACL services to in-home assistance to medical equipment. I'm really looking forward to this session today. I'm going to read our disclaimer before we get started. The WildTech DC Senior Digital Equity Program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the info on any apps or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see us, hear us, or see the screen, please let us know in the chat. We would appreciate that. Let's make sure to keep our TVs and cell phones in mind, just so we're all able to hear and understand each other. And as always, make sure you take notes and or screenshots. But again, you can review this session on our YouTube channel. Hello, YouTube. And you can review and rewind as much as you like. Thank you all so much for coming on. I look forward to posting the poll at the end, so make sure you all stay on to let us know how Iona did today. But without further ado, Samantha, if you could introduce yourself and your topic for today. Thank you so much for coming on, and I look forward to the presentation.
Sure. Thank you so much for the great introduction, Alex. As Alex mentioned, my name is Samantha Henson. I work with IONA Senior Services, and I've had the pleasure of joining you all at a few of your sessions. So today, as usual, I'll give a brief overview of IONA, especially for the new people who are here, and just as a brief refresher for those who have joined me in the past. And then after that, we're going to jump into some additional resources that are available for people as they age, if they choose to age at home. So resources that might address some needs that come up as people are aging at home. And there is a focus on low cost resources for this presentation. And again, my name's Samantha. My background is in social work, and I manage IONA's information and referral helpline that I'll speak about briefly. And I also do outreach for IONA, which makes me a perfect fit for presentations like this. I have some knowledge of resources from the helpline, but also get to interact with you all as part of my outreach. And feel free to raise your hand at any point if you have any questions, comments, or anything else. So the quick overview of IONA, our mission is to support people as they experience the challenges and opportunities of aging. We educate, advocate, and provide community-based services to help people age well and live well. And as you can see on our logo, we have been around for 50 years now. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. We are also one of the lead agencies with the Department of Aging and Community Living. So what that means is that the Department of Aging and Community Living provides some grant funding to different organizations in the different wards in DC to offer specific services in those wards. So while we have a couple of services that are limited to wards 2, 3, and 4, where we're the lead agency, we also have some other funding that allows us to serve DC residents across DC. So while we have some special programs for those wards, we're certainly not limited only to those wards. And we also have 2 adult day centers, which are for people who have a little bit of a higher memory need or physical need, but also a big focus on socialization. So one of them is located at our main office in Tenleytown, and the other is located in Congress Heights. I mentioned I'd talk more about our information referral helpline. I always like to share about this because if there's anything in this presentation that you want to know more about, or you remember the name but not exactly what it does, or if you have other questions, feel free to call our information and referral helpline. It's available to share information about IONA's programs and services, but we can also talk about other programs and services in DC or topics that come up as people age. So Sometimes someone will call and say, my memory doesn't seem as good as it once was, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. Or if they're looking for housing, which we don't offer housing at Iona, but we might be able to provide some referrals to groups that, places where people can apply for housing or get assistance with applying for housing, or benefits. And people call for resources for themselves, people who they care for. We get a lot of adult children, siblings, cousins, nieces, nephews. Professionals can also call. Iona staff even utilizes our helpline sometimes, and community members. So if you're concerned about someone, who you know, who's a neighbor or a part of your faith community, you don't have to have all the information. You can just call and we can, consult about what might be helpful for that person. The helpline is staffed by licensed social workers. I cover it, a little bit more than half the time, and there's one other social worker who covers it, generally when I'm not covering it. People can call from anywhere. A lot of the time we have adult children or family members from out of town call for someone who's local. And it's staffed during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But you can certainly leave a voicemail or email anytime. And a lot of the time you do get voicemail, but we do call back typically within an hour or two. But we say, within 2 business days, just to give us a little wiggle room if it's needed. And you can just call our main number or our main email address that's listed here to reach the helpline. Another slide just to quickly go through some more of our programs specifically. I mentioned our adult day programs, which are more for people who have some physical or cognitive needs, and it's somewhere they can go during the day for socialization, but also some, hands-on support if needed. And they have meals and field trips. It's a really, lovely program. We also have some care management options. We have a program called Dementia Navigators, which has a bit of a focus on subsidized resources for people with memory loss, and there's no fee for that program. We have some light social work support, so like kind of like one-off support if someone needs help with a specific application or a piece of mail they got, or, a question about, resources. That program is limited to wards 2, 3, and 4. And then we also have private pay care management, which is, kind of similar to Dementia Navigators, but not limited to memory loss. And they can help with coordinating care, putting resources in place, planning for the future, and general support. We have nutritionists and dietitians at Iona who offer nutrition counseling and support our community dining sites with their lunch. We offer mental health, and, the nutrition counseling is limited to, again, those wards 2, 3, and 4, but it is offered through other lead agencies and other wards. So if you had questions about that, still feel free to call, even if you're not in our wards. We offer mental health therapy, which accepts insurance, Medicare and Blue Cross Blue Shields. Again, focusing on people who are over 60 and caregivers of people who are over 60. We also have support groups. A lot of them are for caregivers, but we also have a group where we partner with Whitman Walker called Silver Circles for LGBTQIA plus older adults. And we have a low vision support group. Those are all meeting virtually right now. For finding community and lifelong learning, we have a great program called Around Town DC. The website for that is aroundtowndc.org. They actually recently got a brand new website, and it shows all of our social and wellness programs, that kind of remind me of some of the wild tech programs like this that you all have. But you can go on that website and see what we're offering and set up a free account to register for anything of interest. I also mentioned briefly earlier that we have community dining sites. So we have about 12 locations, in wards 2, 3, and 4. So that's where they're located, but they're open to anyone. And, they have a lot of programming similar to Around Town DC, and they also have lunch every day around typically at noon. And those are, unlike the day program, they're kind of more like a drop-in for people who are more independent in the community, and you can pick and choose what you're interested in and show up to that. And then for memory support, that's kind of throughout all the programs I've been talking about. The day program supports people with memory loss, our dementia navigators, case management I mentioned, and a lot of our support groups are for people who are caring for someone with memory loss. And I touched on this briefly, but in terms of eligibility for IONA's programs, most of our programs are for people who are over 60 or caregivers of someone over 60. Most of our programs are open to anyone who's a DC resident, but some of them go a little bit outside of DC. And only 2 of our programs are limited to wards 2, 3, and 4. And that's that light social work support and nutrition counseling, which again, you can get through the other lead agencies in the other wards if needed. And most of our programs have no cost. So like our information referral helpline, we also have a resource guide, which can be found online, or we could email you a PDF. We're hoping to have a new one come out, hopefully in the fall, and we'll have some more paper copies, but right now we just have the digital copies of the 2022 to 2024 version. And so that's a quick overview of IONA. Now I'm planning to jump into more of the main topic for today. But before I go on, are there any questions about IONA?
Great overview. Thank you so much, Samantha. Again, especially for maybe persons that have not been on your session before. Is there any overall overarching IONA questions for Samantha before our main topic for today? You can raise your hand in Zoom.
And some of these programs I think will pop up in the other slides too, but if you think of anything as I go, feel free to refer back to.
Okay, we have 2 hands. Thank you so much. Just making sure I look at the chat as well. Thank you. All right, ever any overarching Iona questions? We got Anne and then Miss Doris. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Samantha. I had to step away for one quick minute. Uh, do you still have like a daycare program for
We
people?
do. We
Okay. Mhm.
We have 2 locations now. So one of them just opened in 2020, and that one's a little bit newer. It's in Congress Heights. And then we have another one that I think started in 97, if my memory is correct, in Tenleytown. So those are full day programs, and they focus a little bit more on people who have physical or cognitive needs, but they're lovely social programs and lots of art projects and exercise and entertainment.
Do you have transportation, or people have to provide the transportation?
For our Northwest location, it's pretty limited. For our Southeast location, we provide transportation for Ward 7 and 8 residents.
Okay, so all right, because the person I was asking does happen to live in Ward 7,
Oh,
which is
great.
my ward. Yeah, my ward too.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Well, thank you, honey,
for
for answering that question. I appreciate you.
no problem for any of these programs, just call our information referral helpline. We'll just make sure it's a good fit, and then we'll pass them along directly to that program for the next steps.
Thank you. God bless you.
No
Have a good
problem.
day.
You too.
Thank you so much, Anne. We got Miss Doris next. Thank you. You have an Iona question for Samantha today?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the the slide you just showed in certain wards, but I didn't see Ward 8 on there. So they only working just those Ward 2 and 4?
So we're the lead agency in wards 2, 3, and 4. So only a couple of our programs are restricted to those wards, but most of the programs that I talked about are open to any DC resident. And that's because the Department of Aging offers us funding for those wards specifically, but they also offer us some other citywide funding. And we have some funding from other areas that allows us to work with DC residents anywhere in DC. So I would always, no matter what ward you're in, I'd encourage you to call, because even if we can't help for some reason, we can always refer to other programs.
Okay, thank you very much. I
No
appreciate that.
problem. Any other
Yeah.
questions before we jump into those other resources that may include IONA, but also a lot outside of IONA too?
And thank you, Samantha. I like the helpline as like a funnel, because you can definitely direct them to someone's lead agency, or the information. But I think just the main thing is, please call if you're not in wards 2, 3, and 4, and if you don't need help necessarily with light social work or nutrition counseling. And that, you can go to your own ward for that if you'd like, but every other program is available for all DC seniors. So if you are in wards 2, 3, and 4, great. If you would like to take advantage of that light social work or nutritional counseling, you can. If you're not in those wards, you can go to your respective lead agency in your ward and be able to get similar services. Is that right, Samantha?
That's right. Yeah. And just a reminder that, again, all the lead agencies have some overlap and then some unique programs. So
Hmm?
it's kind of like there's no wrong door. You can call any of us, and we should all be referring to each other too. So feel free to call whether you're in our wards or not.
Yeah, so everyone take advantage of this number. Again, I put in the chat. I'm gonna put in again that email again for anyone. Again, you're familiar with Iona, so why not call them and let them, do the work, and they have the resources compiled and be able to guide you either to them or to someone that can really assist you. So please take advantage, you all.
That's right.
There's no there. What do you say to this? There is no stupid question.
Yeah, definitely.
There's
And
no
we
stupid
get a
question.
ton of sometimes what seem like random questions, but we always do our best to help answer questions or at least point people in the right direction. So don't ever hesitate to call.
Right, right. No, there's no silly question. We all know different things. That's why the number is there. If you call them, it shows that Iona is helpful. So, I hope you all take advantage, either for yourself or someone else. Again, we're all a community.
And oh, I see something in the chat. Let
Oh,
me just make
that
sure
was
I'm not.
me.
Okay, that was you. All right, well, let me jump back in. And again, stop me at any point. So Alex and I both referenced the Department of Aging and Community Living, which is, of course, a great resource for aging at home in DC. To talk a little bit more about what they are and what they do, they're the government agency that has some programs in-house, but they also partner with over 20 community-based organizations across the city to offer a variety of programs. So that kind of leads into what I was talking about with the lead agencies and some other programs. They also partner with Wild Tech, I'm fairly certain. And the programs that they have, we mentioned that light social work support, the nutrition counseling, in-house, they also offer health insurance counseling around Medicare and Medicaid and QMB. They offer and fund caregiving support resources. In-house, they also have adult protective services if you're concerned about elder abuse for yourself or someone else. So again, some of it is them funding other agencies to provide these services. Some of it they offer themselves. Also in-house, the Department of Aging offers case management for people who are over 60 in DC and home delivered meals. And many of the programs in this presentation are funded by the Department of Aging as well. So I already touched briefly on care and case management, which is available to help older adults and caregivers coordinate care, so appointments, getting diagnoses, applying for benefits, so discounts on things like utilities, or food resources. They can help with setting a plan for aging a community, Or if someone decides that they can't age at home, they can help them make decisions and coordinate a move and where the best place to go would be. And also specialized resource referral. Of course, we're all unique with unique needs, so they can help connect, they can share about different resources and also help directly connect you with different resources. So I mentioned the Department of Aging offers a general no-cost version of this citywide for people over 60. IONA, we offer some case management for people who have memory loss at no cost. We also have a private pay program. Some of the villages offer case management, and I'll talk more about the villages later, but they're also nonprofits in DC that serve specific parts of DC. So for example, there's Northwest Neighbors Village or Capitol Hill Village or Glover Park Village, Kingdom Care Village, which is in, I believe they serve Ward 8. And that's their footprint. Capitol Hill Village is Ward 6. So those are another great resource. Sometimes they have social workers who can provide some support. And we'll also be talking a little bit later about a program called the EPD waiver, and that stands for Elderly and Persons with Disabilities Waiver, which provides some in-home care. They can also provide some funding for assisted living or adult day programs. And if you qualify for the EPD waiver and are receiving those services, you also get case management. So those are some of the different ways you can get case management. There are, of course, other options through like mental health agencies or housing agencies. So again, always feel free to call and we can point you to the right place. Another thing that comes up as people age at home is if they need help at home. So this slide focuses on home health aides who can really help with anything you might need, from bathing to dressing, cooking, cleaning, shopping, escorting to appointments, companionship. So there are a variety of low-cost resources as well as private pay for help at home. Home Care Partners is another nonprofit that I believe also partners with the Department of Aging in a variety of ways. And they have a home care aid program at no cost that I believe is typically around 3 hours, 3 times a week. They do often have a wait list, but it's a great resource to be aware of. I mentioned on the other slide the EPD waiver, which is a program you have to qualify for financially and apply for. But if you get it, then you can have home care aides at no cost at your house. And the state plan is through Medicaid. So Medicaid will also cover home care. And of course, that needs a doctor's note. I'm just checking some of the chat here. Someone shouted out East Rock Creek Village. That is, yep, that's one of the villages. And I see Alex put in wavevillages.org where you can see a listing of all of them. I also often will Google DACL village map, so Department of Aging and Community Living village map, and it'll bring you to a link where you can put your address in and see if you fall within a village footprint. Okay, so in addition to help that you might need at home, there's also opportunities to modify your house to make it more accessible. So one program, a great program through the Department of Aging is called Safe at Home. And they offer home modifications. So things like grab bars, stair lifts. I think they even sometimes provide like chair lifts, so like a chair that stands up with you, toilet seat risers, ramps. So all different things you might need to make your house accessible. And I think the income qualifications are fairly reasonable. I have them listed here. And they'll do it at no cost. So it's a great resource. DC Shares is a group that offers durable medical equipment. So this is different than Safe at Home because the durable medical equipment refers more on things that you would physically use um, to help with your mobility rather than adapting your house. So it's things like walkers, wheelchairs, canes, rollators, um, toilet seat risers might fall under that too. So there's an option through DC Shares. And then at Iona, we also have a loan closet. Um, and if you have anything, sometimes people will have a procedure and get equipment that they no longer need. You can donate it to Iona. And if you need anything, just give us a call and we'll let you know if we have it. And if we do, it's available at no cost for pickup. So I'll do a quick chat check.
It's great that you're sharing the DC Shares and Iona's resource available. I think you may have shared it, but is there a lot of differences between what's available between the two, or is it different?
That's a good question. I think the type of items we have are similar. I'm not sure, but I think DC Shares might have like a larger space to house the equipment, so they might have more options. We don't have a ton of space, so sometimes we'll have to clean it out if we're running out of storage space. So usually like if we don't have something, we'll refer to DC Shares to check if they have it. But I think the type of items are pretty similar. Typically, it's all manual. Like we don't have a lot, like we and DC Shares don't have um, motorized like wheelchairs or scooters, for
Mm.
example.
I think you talked about the loan closet last time. I think someone had asked about it.
Hmm.
I hope you took advantage of it
Yeah.
because
Yeah, it's definitely one of our active programs.
yeah, because someone can like send an aide to get the equipment as you had mentioned.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, anyone can pick it up. Yeah, you could, yeah, it really could be anyone, any relation to you. We just can't drop it off. So as long as you can send someone to pick it up or pick it up yourself, that is fine.
Great, great. No, Safe House Home is a great program. We've seen photos of their work and so that it's a great program. If you qualify, then definitely take advantage.
And we have a question here about Safe at Home about if they replace batteries in stair lifts. That's a good question. And my answer is I don't know. To reach Safe at Home, I believe now they're just using the main Department of Aging and Community Living phone number. So I would call the Department of Aging and ask for Safe at Home. I think typically I wouldn't think necessarily to refer to them just for batteries, but if there's other things you might need too, and they see you have a stair lift that's not working because of batteries, I wouldn't be surprised if they'd replace it. I just don't know the answer to that question. And Alex just put DACL's number for that question in the chat. Thank you, Alex. And someone asked, this is a great question. Do things borrowed from the loan closet have to be returned? And I would say no. What we say is that you can have it for as long as you need it. So if you need it indefinitely, you can have it indefinitely. If you find that you no longer need it, and it's still like clean, lightly used, or even if you ended up not using it and it's like new, we'll take it back. So no pressure to return it. We're not going to be searching for people or giving a timeline.
Mhm. Thank you so much for asking those questions, you guys. And thank you, Samantha, for answering them. We got Ms. Doris. You have a question about something we just shared?
No, I
Thank
just want to make a comment about the person asked about the battery. If you have a problem with your stair lift, Safe at Home deals with what is called Get a Grip Company.
Hmm.
And when my chair went out, they bought me a brand new chair out. So if you have a
Okay.
problem with your chair, then you just call DC Safe at Home, and they have that company to come out and
Mm-hmm.
whatever needs to be done as far as batteries or whatever.
Yeah, and Get a Grip. I didn't mention them here because again, this slideshow I'm mostly focusing just on the lower cost or subsidized resources, but you can also work with Get a Grip independently too. And they, I believe, do a free assessment of your house and can tell you what's possible. And then you could pick and choose what you might want. But if you work with Get a Grip outside of Safe at Home, you're going to have to just pay for all of it, whereas
Well,
Safe at Home
I
would otherwise
they
cover it.
pay everything that they helped me out with everything I needed. DC Safe at Home paid for it.
Yes, yeah. So if you're going through Safe at Home, they contract with Get a Grip and Safe at Home covers the cost. But you
Yeah.
could also go through Get a Grip alone. If you don't go through Safe at Home, you just have to pay for it.
Thank you so much for sharing that experience, Ms. Doris. It's so helpful.
Yeah, that is helpful.
I never
Thank
heard
you.
of Get a Grip, so thank you so much.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So yes, for that person that asked in the chat, please call DACL's hotline for safe at home to be transferred to them, so you can get that assisted. Oh, thank you for saying thank you, Miss Lisa. Thank you for asking that question.
Great questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my next slides are about the community dining sites in DC. So every ward has community dining sites. This is another program that's funded by the Department of Aging. I think I probably touched on it very briefly when I was talking about IONA's programs. So again, IONA manages the sites in wards 2, 3, and 4, which are open to anyone as long as you can get there. And again, it's offered in the other wards through other groups. But it's not
They're
just
very
for,
similar. Yeah, very similar.
yeah, they're very similar because it has the same funding stream, a lot of the time the same caterers used, and just the same kind of monitoring. But typically you'll find art programs, fitness programs like chair yoga, Zumba Gold, book clubs, sing-alongs, music appreciation, med I think there's a typo there. Meditation is what that should say. Legal counsel for the elderly will do presentations. Um, I'm not sure why we listed United Healthcare here, but I'm sure they've done presentations. They'll have different parties and field trips. Yeah, some things on here, I don't know why it came up. It came up a little funny,
Well,
but
the Bernice Fontenot Center, they when we had when they had a tabling event, United Healthcare was there. They're
yeah, so they might show up. I don't think United Healthcare has like regular programming, but we definitely partner with groups like Legal Counsel for the Elderly, United Healthcare, and like the Urban League provides some volunteer services. So we have all these different programs, they're drop-in services, you can just show up, and they all have lunch during the middle of the day too. So again, you could come just for lunch or lunch in one program, or you could come the full day every day, and there's no cost for it. And I did list here our sites. So we have now almost 12. It's also a very easy Google search to do DACL community dining sites, and you can see all of the sites in all of the wards.
I actually just shared a link with you, Samantha. There's not a date on it, but it looks pretty accurate.
Yeah, and I did just see, it looked like the Department of Aging just uploaded a new list, but looking at the one that you added, it looks right to me. Mm-hmm.
Here's the FY25 list.
Yeah, they just updated it. I think it might have been on the last call I was on here or something. And I clicked it and was like, oh, this is new. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah, it has all the addresses. And I would say, you're welcome to go to any of them. Personally, I'd probably see what ward I'm in and what looks to be the closest and
Oh
most
yeah.
convenient.
But that's, I mean, I like that there's just one document. The internet is amazing. I mean, you could see the whole list, and then you could, share with your friends and family and community, and to take advantage. You never know who you might meet. DC's so small, but being at many of these sites before, there's always something going on, which is great. You never know who you're gonna know or meet.
Yeah, and a big reason why we included here is because we know that cognitively and physically, it's just so important to be getting out and interacting with other people and exercising and eating well, and the dining sites are a great way to do that. Okay, so I wanted to share some resources for people who have memory loss as they age at home. I do always like to share about the memory clinics that typically take insurance. There's a few that IONA have as referrals that can provide assessment, diagnosis, and support for people who have memory loss. We always encourage people, if they're having any memory loss, to look into what might be causing it. It might be something that can be fixable, like sometimes dehydration or medication interacting with each other, or incorrect dosing and things like that. Or if it is dementia, knowing what type of dementia it is, so you know what to expect, the progression, and how to address that. I mentioned that there's adult day health programs, and Iona has 2 adult day health programs. We also work pretty closely with Genevieve Johnson in Ward 4. We support their lunch at their dining site, but they also have a day program as well. I know there's another private paid day program at Ingleside. So another great resource to stay engaged. And that's especially, helpful for people experiencing memory loss, to be interacting with people and cognitively involved. I mentioned briefly earlier Iona's Dementia Navigators program, which is no cost care management for people with memory loss. Sibley also has a great program for socialization, and also support groups for people with memory loss and their care partners. It's called Club Memory, and they have locations all throughout DC and Maryland, I believe. And those are I think it's like an hour or two, maybe about once a week, again, across DC, where it's very socially based, but then also has a support group aspect where people with memory loss go with their care partner. And I mentioned support groups. So Iona has a variety of support groups for people who are caring for someone with memory loss. And we can also refer to other support groups as well. Any questions about these resources before I move on? Transportation is very important to make sure you have access to when aging at home. The connector card is one resource that can be applied for, where basically you get a debit card, and each month, based on your income, you would upload a certain amount, and I believe it's the Department of Aging would upload another amount. So it's kind of in that card can be used for transportation. So it's subsidized in the sense that the government is also uploading some money for you. You might be familiar with seeing the Metro Access vans around DC. Those are for people who need help, they say door to door. So they might need a little bit more physical assistance, or maybe they're in a wheelchair, and that you would have to apply for. And if you apply for Metro Access and get it, you would also have access to a program called Transport DC, which they call curb to curb transportation. So that is basically just using a taxi. It goes through Yellow Cab. So if you're able to use a taxi independently, you should be able to use Transport DC. And it's discounted because each trip in DC costs $7. So each way, whereas it might be a lot more if you're paying for taxi privately. MTM is transportation to medical appointments through Medicaid. The Department of Aging also has a program called Senior Med Express that you have to apply for, but it's no cost transportation to medical appointments. And I think there might be some specific medical diagnoses that you might need, like if you're going to dialysis or if you're going to chemo or radiation or something like that. And I mentioned the villages. I think I'm going to talk more about it on the next slide if I'm remembering correctly, if not, very soon. But the villages offer volunteer transportation. So again, it's going based on volunteers and their availability. So I wouldn't expect like every day, but if you have an appointment that you have plans, you could certainly call one of the villages if you're a member and ask for a volunteer to take you to the appointment. And they just wouldn't be able to offer any hands-on assistance typically. Someone is wondering if an aide can travel with you for no extra cost. I think I'm not sure which specific program Anne is referring to, but I would say typically yes. I think typically you don't have to pay for an aide for any of these programs to travel with you if you're bringing your own aide. Okay, so we talked a lot about the villages already. I'll talk about them a little bit more specifically now. Maybe in future presentations, I should just bring it up sooner. But again, they're all over DC. Alex had previously put this web address, wavevillages.org, in the chat where you can see which village supports your neighborhood. But they're neighborhood based. And you join them as a member. So typically they have a membership fee that is often they have often subsidized options or sliding scale options. But when you join the villages, you have access to volunteers, and volunteers also lead programs that they have. So again, kind of some similar programs to what Wild Tech might offer or IONA through around town DC. But again, it would be very local to where you live because of the nature of the villages. And volunteers can offer a lot of one-on-one support, which can be harder to find, I think, in DC. So they can help with things like gardening, going through mail, grocery shopping, friendly visits. They can provide transportation. They could come over and help with technology. So it's a great resource. And that is all of the content that I have for today. Again, don't feel like you have to memorize anything. Any questions that come up, our information for a helpline is always a resource, our main number or main email address. Half of the time you'll probably reach me there, and half the time you'll reach another social worker. And I can stop sharing my screen. And if there's any other questions or comments, I'm happy to see how I can help.
Oh, Samantha, do you mind just kind of just going through each of the slides, just going through each one so that way folks can just take a look at some of the different topics for the second half of this session. So,
Sure. Let me get it back to the top, and then I'll share my screen again.
so again, thank you all so much. Any questions for Samantha? Any comments? But again, I'm hopeful that it's helpful for for yourself, your friends, your family, your community. Yes, yes. Please get those questions in the chat. Raise your hand.
I'll go through slower.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get to the
Oh yeah.
beginning.
No, maybe just the second half for that specifically. But again, thank you always for introducing everything in Iona. So yeah, we got DACL, we got care and case management. We've had folks talk about the EPD waiver before. Villagers are great, of course, DACL Iona. Home health aides, please call DACL to take advantage. Safe at Home, great program. We've had many persons, again, we have Tori coming on Thursday. So, I know she only has good things to say. Medical equipment, if you yourself or someone needs some, any dining sites. I shared the link of all the dining sites in DC. So no matter what ward you're in, you can visit a dining site. Maybe make that an activity with a friend. Maybe you live in Ward 7 or 8 and you know someone living in Wards 2 and 3. You could visit them at a center and they can visit you. You can make a whole day out of it, right? So I think that's great. And see, other parts of the city. You got these memory resources. Have only good things about club memory as well. I love that program. We have transportation. We've had many folks talk about transportation as well, but it's always good to review and see what you can or would like to take advantage of right now. MTM is great. Only good things. There's villages all over DC. So check out your ward, see what's available next to you. Yeah, I love it. Lots of overall things you need for day-to-day life. I think if you receive help with any of these, it will help out in other areas of your life. Maybe not necessarily what you need help with, but when you know something, it may help you know something else.
And we have a great question in the chat too. If we know of any programs that provide adult diapers and toiletries. And Iona actually has incontinence products in our loan closet. I'm glad you asked that because I didn't mention it. So we have adult diapers, pull-ups, wipes, bed pads, gloves, lots of different options there. Again, you can just call and see what we have available, different sizes. Someone in the chat said that DC Shares sometimes has them too. And sometimes the food pantries have some toiletries and household items. Like I know near Iona, we have North, hold on, I think it's called Northwest Community Pantry. Let me double check that.
Yeah, you mentioned that
Community Food Pantry,
last, is
yeah.
that right?
Yeah, Northwest Community Food Pantry. I'll put their website in the chat. I know they offer toiletries and it's every week on Sundays. It's kind of like no questions asked. You can just show up. I wouldn't be surprised if organizations like Some or Bread for the City had some toiletries available too.
Thank you so much for the link, Samantha. Again, I remember you bringing it up last time you were with us. So this is great. The donations are on the weekends, but distributions on the Sunday, and the information is there. So I guess you can have someone go for you, and says you do not need any documentation or identification to receive food or other items. Um, Proud partner of Capital Area Food Bank. So please take advantage of all the resources. And DC shares, that one is the income based, right?
Yes, I do believe they have an income limit, so that is one difference too. Um, where DC shares, you have to qualify for it. While they might have a little bit more options than Iona has. For Iona, you don't have to qualify, you just have to have a need.
Mhm. Yes, yes. So you could definitely call and see if there's any changes. Things are always changing. So, that may be different next month or the month after. It never hurts to call. We have a hand in our participants. Any other questions or comments, please use the chat or raise your hands. Thank you, Ms. Doris. Any questions or comments for today?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. I want to thank you very much, Samantha, for your presentation today. You gave a lot of good information that I didn't even know about, and thank you for letting me know more information about the program.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to know that it was helpful. And I think that's the goal where, maybe these are things that you don't need right now. Or maybe some of them you do and some you don't. But I just want people to know these are things that you can ask for and that it do exist as needs arise. So maybe you don't remember what the EPD waiver is called, but you remember there's something you can apply for to get help at home, and you know to call the helpline. That's kind of the goal of these for me.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Ms. Doris. Any other questions or comments? You can raise your hand, use the chat. Any questions? What are some most common things that people call the helpline for, Samantha?
We get a lot of calls around memory loss and needing some like assistance in planning support around memory loss. We do get a lot of transportation requests, housing requests, which again, it's a little more limited what we can do for housing, but we can certainly talk to people and provide referrals. And a lot of people who are starting to need some help at home, like physically, they're finding it harder to manage at home and looking for resources and benefits. People call about how to make their finances go a little bit further.
Oh, I love that, Samantha. Especially, you know, just looking at transportation, there are so many options, and it might be hard to decide or pick which one is best for you. So it's good to be able to talk to someone that can guide you through each of the program's quirks and what
Mhm.
it will work best for you. And especially with the, you know, what you said about the dementia, it's important to know if you can be treated or can't be treated or what type of it is. So, you know. Um, just to be just asking for help. I think, you know, I love, you know, Dackle does that too, you know, with the helpline or hotline. You know, Iona, you know, you're just able to ask for certain resources and either you can receive assistance right then and there, or you guys know of a program or partner that specifically helps out with that. So I think that's a really great, you know, I think it's just that initial call is so, so important, you all. So please share that helpline number and email with you know, everyone that you know, not just wards 2 and 3 and 4, but everyone that you know.
Yeah, and I think the helplines are so great because a lot of the time, sometimes people don't need any help until they're getting older and suddenly they do need help and don't know what's available. So just knowing that there's somewhere you can call and get some answers, I think that's a good thing to know about.
Right. Just thinking like, you know, we and you guys have had the fortunate you know, opportunity to have legal counsel on, but you know, if someone needed help with a will or a trust or legal issues, like they can still call you guys and you have that resource in that or in that organization that you can refer them to, which I think is so so important. So um
Mhm. Someone
mhm.
asking for the DC shares information. I'm going to pull it up and I'll put it in the chat. Now I think it recently changed. Alex, you might be familiar, but I think somewhat recently now it falls under, it says ULS, um, University Legal Services. So now
Yeah,
it
I'm
used to
familiar with
be,
them.
yeah, I think it used to be through a different group and now it's falling under this program.
Yes, yeah, we've had the DC ATP before. It is income based, says here below 30,000 with income levels before below 30,000 per year. So I have the link right here in the chat. Yeah, from yeah, we've had Mr. Leonard come on and do a wonderful presentation as well. Oh, thank you for that info too. So I just shared their website and there's that contact information, which is great. I love the teamwork, Samantha.
Mhm.
Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
great questions.
Yeah, great questions today. Again, I hope this is helpful for yourselves and for your friends, family, and community. Any other last comments, questions? You can raise your hand, but you can unmute yourself now too if you have a question. Any last questions or comments for today? Anything?
Oh, what was there about the DC waiver? I missed some of that. Wait,
Oh, I believe you're referring to the EPD waiver, which stands for Elderly and Persons with Disabilities waiver. And I would say the easiest thing to do to get connected to that is calling the Department of Aging and Community Living. But you would have to qualify financially and physically, and you can have access to home care. It'll also cover some assisted livings and adult day programs.
okay, thanks so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Yvonne, for that as well. You please call Iona if you want more assistance, but you can also, we had legal counsel do a session on EPD waiver that's on our channel, so would also check that out for more details. So
Oh, great.
either way, I hope you find that information and it's helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. She
Mhm.
said, it's like if you can, you should,
Mhm.
because of the other things that they may offer as well. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
really
hope.
appreciate all the great questions. I think it always makes for a much stronger presentation to hear from all of you and what questions you have and what experience you have is better than just hearing me talk the whole time.
I see you, Miss Marie. You have a question or comment for Samantha today?
Yeah, Samantha, it's about the YouTube the subscription. Do you know how much subscription is?
I don't know. I know that you can watch a lot of, I don't know if you're not specifically referring to Wild Text YouTube, are you?
Yes.
Oh, Miss
Oh,
Marie. Oh, yeah. So subscription on YouTube is just you'll get a notification when we upload a new video. So when you access our channel from the link on your iPad, just make sure if it's a black subscribe button, make sure you tap on that so you can be notified when we upload a new video. So when this video is uploaded, you'll get a notification on your iPad like the other ones that you receive. So that way you'll let you know that it's been uploaded. But it's free.
And
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no
another thing,
pressure.
Alex, I'm not getting my emails.
Okay, I'll definitely double check that and see what I can do. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I got you. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
No, thank you for coming on. I hope you take advantage.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Any other last questions? Any other last questions, comments for today? All right. Well, Samantha, again, okay, we got one more hand. I think that will be it for today. I appreciate all the questions today. Thank you so much. Miss Laverne, you have a question or comment for today?
Yes. Miss Samantha, is there any way possible you could tell me a little bit about this QMB program?
Yes, QMB, I would definitely call the Department of Aging for their health insurance counseling because I know they help apply for QMB. My understanding of QMB is that it helps cover Medicare premiums and any gaps of coverage. So, like, it helps pay for medical expenses that might not be covered by Medicare. Um, that's kind of the quick overview, but we can also put in the chat a link with information about QMB too. That's kind of pretty
Because
simple.
with my problem right now going with QMB, it's an inconvenience. It's cutting me off of certain things that I was eligible for when I was with Medicaid.
Hmm.
And now it's taken away from me, and I'm wondering what the Sam Hills I can do to get my stuff back that's necessary for me to have to be able to get along like I've been doing.
Yeah, I would definitely reach out to that health insurance counseling. I'll put that in the chat too, because they work very closely with QMB and should be able to answer any questions around that. And
And
that's
I
through the
thank you
Department of
so
Aging.
very much for your day today because it was very inspirational.
I'm so glad. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Miss Laverne. Good luck. Thank
Hey,
you.
yes, Mr. Alex, I need you to check on why I'm not getting my emails either.
Okay, I will do so, and I will have a response for you before the end of the week. Thank you so much. All righty. Well, thank you again so much, Samantha, for coming on our session today. Any last words or thoughts or anything you want to highlight from Iona today or that's upcoming? But again, thank you so much for your inspirational and wonderful session today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you all for joining. I mentioned we have a new website for aroundtowndc.org. If you want to check that out, you can also see what programs we have coming up through that. And I do a lot of presentations like this through Around Town DC as well. And always feel free to give us a call if anything comes up.
Thank you so much, Samantha. Let's make sure to all stay on for our poll at the end so you can let us know how you felt about the session today. But looking forward to Iona's next session. And let's all say thank you so much to Samantha for her presentation today. Thank you so much,
Thank
Samantha.
you,
Thank you
Samantha.
so
Thank
much,
you.
Samantha.
Thank you,
Have
Samantha.
a
Thank
good week.
Thank you all.
Thank you for answering my
Bye.
question.
No
Thank you so
problem. Thank you
much.
all. Thanks for asking them.
You.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Samantha. Have a
you.
great
Thank
day.
you,
Thank you,
Samantha.
Samantha.
Yeah, this was